Yep. Ready to go. Praise the Most High. You can come on in just a little bit. Yeah. No, you good. You good.
I hear Jacob crying. Why here? I can hear him crying. When you gonna rise? Call on the Lord. Mighty Jacob, rise. Let's hear your roar. When you gonna rise, Jacob? Hear you calling. Hear you cries, Jacob. Hear you bawling. I feel Jacob rising. Can you see? I can see him rising. Jacob, dry your eyes and call on the Lord. Mighty Jacob, rise to be restored. Troubles are growing, Jacob. You need to stop what you're doing. Oh, Jacob. No, the promise is waiting. Oh, Jacob. You need to call on the Lord. So Jacob, dry your eyes and call on the Lord. Mighty Jacob, rise, and you will be restored. Troubles are brewing, no Jacob. Just stop what you're doing. Stop it, Jacob. Because the promise is waiting. No, Jacob. So call on the Lord, and He will hear your voice. Oh, Jacob, let us hear it. Oh no, let's hear that roar. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Ooh, Jacob, come and call on the Lord.
That's right. Jacob come call on the Most High. I'm Elder Ricard Yard along with Elder Lawyer here to pick up from where we left off at last night. Of course, there was a lot of interruptions, but I digress. I'm not even going there. Today have enough evils in itself. So we're just going to do something real quick and get some responses back from you as far as the broadcast goes. We're only going to go for about an hour and then open up the calls. And you can call in 515-605-9327. And this is, and that's right, and a Mark of the Beast update. Okay, where are we? And how did we get here. What will you do? Last night we picked up Elder Lawyer where we were talking about the Melchizedek order and a kingdom of people under one God governing ourselves righteously according to God's word. Right? And I'm going to go over a bit of that. We're going to pull up the 10 commandments after that because, I mean, if we can start with just the 10 and be on code with that, just the 10 will take us a long way in preparing ourselves for what's at the door and getting on code. But I digress. I'm not going to go there right now. This is a Mark of the Beast update. Okay? While we're twerking and acting a fool out there, something deep is happening. Satan is in overdrive with his ministers in a campaign to destroy the righteous, as was prophesied out of the Bible. God's people. This thing has been aimed against us. And we think it's just about a code or a mask, but I'm going to show you how we got here. But before we go anywhere, I need you to look at your screen. There's a familiar character we see in this particular video I'm about to show. And this particular video goes back to at least, I think, 2005, 15 years ago. Okay, a Pentagon briefing on something that the government could administer against our people, against the people. When I say our people, let's keep it broad. Citizens of the earth. Let's keep it broad right now. So because I don't want a white person to come in here or a Chinese or an East Indian and think that they're not under threat either. Okay. So we're going to start off with citizens of the world. Okay. We're God's people according to the Bible, and we understand that there's certain doses of this stuff they're putting out there that will be aimed strategically against us. Okay? I need you all to look at your screen. Something from 2005. I'm going to share my screen with you. Let's roll. Jumping right in.
Excuse me, on the left over here, we have individuals who are religious fundamentalists, religious fanatics, and this is the expression, RT-PCR, real-time PCR expression of the VMAT2 gene. Over here, we have individuals. So let me complete. So over here, we have individuals who are not particularly fundamentalist, not particularly religious, and you can see there's a much reduced expression of this particular gene, the VMAT2 gene. Another evidence that supports our hypothesis for the development of this approach.
What you see here is by spreading this virus, we're going to eliminate individuals from donning on a bomb vest and going into a market and blowing up the market.
So our hypothesis is that these are fanatical people, that they have...
Okay, for those who didn't hear the one of the officers at the Pentagon, he asked, this virus, well, it will stop extreme fundamentalists from going into a market and blowing things up. So here it is, a chemical solution to what they deem radical to affect the brain. And I need y'all to look at this scan here that they have.
Overexpression of the VMAT2 gene and that by vaccine.
I need you all to examine the fact that they are examining the brain, knowing that the spirit is in the brain. Okay? The temple. Now the soul, the soul is in the blood, but the spirit lies in the brain. They've been researching the brain for a long time to effectively, that's right, attack our connection with the Almighty. Listen.
Vaccinating them against this will eliminate this behavior. So we have some very, very overexpression of the VMAT2 gene, and that by vaccinating them against this, will eliminate this behavior. So we have some very, very remarkable data in this next slide. Here we have two brain scans. These are fMRIs. These are two different individuals with different levels of expression of VMAT2. On top is an individual who's a religious fanatic, an individual, and we've repeated this numerous times, that has high levels of VMAT2. Now, this individual down here who had low levels of the VMAT2 gene, this individual would self-describe as not particularly religious. In each case, these individuals were read a religious text. This individual lit up the right middle frontal gyrus.
Now, what did they find out there, Elder Lawyer? That when we read the biblical text or religious text in connection with God, a phenomenon happens in our brain. When we are attempting to connect with the Most High, they have highlighted the area of connection beyond this realm. Now, only the devil would study something like this, not to enhance it, but to turn it off. Not to enhance the connection with the Almighty, but finding a way to turn it off. And you can't make this up.
Shown here, and that's a part of the brain that's associated with theory of mind. It's a part of the brain that has to do with intents and beliefs and desires. In contrast, in marked contrast, here's an individual who would not particularly self-describe as religious, and when they're read a religious text, what you see is that this part of the brain called the anterior insula lights up. This is a part of the brain that's associated with disgust or displeasure on hearing something.
So you're suggesting I take a CT scan with me when
That means if you are disgusted with immorality and perverted behavior, the powers that be deems that an issue.
I'm evaluating people to determine whether I put a bullet in their head?
So the data that I'm presenting here supports the concept that we're proposing, and I think that we would not propose to do CT scans or fMRIs on individuals out in the hinterlands of Afghanistan. The virus would immunize against this VMAT2 gene, and that would have the effect that you see here, which is it's essentially to turn a fanatic into a normal person. And we think that will have major effects in the Middle East.
How would you suggest that this is going to be dispersed? Aerosol?
Well, so the present plan and the tests that we've done so far have used respiratory viruses such as flu or rhinoviruses, and we believe that that's a satisfactory way to get the exposure of the largest part of the population. Most of us, of course, have been exposed to both of those viruses. Expression of the VMAT2 gene. Over here, we have individuals. So let me complete. So over here, we have individuals who are not particularly fundamentalist, not particularly religious, and you can see there's a much reduced expression of this particular gene, the VMAT2 gene.
Now, for those who said that the particular frame was frozen, on my screen, it isn't. But for you, it's frozen. Right? But I think we all get the gist of this, folks. That they've been planning this for a long time. To use an agent injected into our bloodstreams that will go straight to our brains and cut off that connection between us and the Almighty. Turning people, vibrant people who live and love and get excited into brain dead zombies. See, and many mothers have been fighting against a lot of these agents being shot in our children for a long time. Because why? Autism and the effects of a neural sense and all that and messing with their brain and all that stuff like that. Well, guess what? Those were the trials to lead to what they're about to administer now. And if you think that was something. Okay, but I don't need a video for this. Because I played the YouTube video. Elder Lawyer can see it's moving. It was no problem. But yet you couldn't see the video. These are the censorship that's going down right now. But I digress. Let's go. Mm-hmm. How did we get here? Elder Lawyer, anything?
Yeah, a few other people said they were able to.
Okay, so some people were able to see it moving. Mm-hmm. All right, because it was a still frame in my shot. Okay, well, that's fine. If you've seen it, that's good. It was a still frame. It wasn't showing it all on our side. It only showed as a still frame. So I'm glad some people were able to see it. No problem. If so, let me play it again. One moment. And we'll pick it up from there.
Gene, another evidence that supports our hypothesis for the development of this approach. What you see
here is by spreading this virus, we're going to eliminate individuals from donning on a bomb vest and going into a market and blowing up the market.
So our hypothesis is that these are fanatical people, that they have overexpression of the VMAT2 gene, and that by vaccinating them against this, we'll eliminate this behavior. So we have some very, very remarkable data in this next slide. Here we have two brain scans. These are fMRIs. These are two different individuals with different levels of expression of VMAT2. On top is an individual who's a religious fanatic, an individual, and we've repeated this numerous times, that has high levels of VMAT2. Now, this individual down here who had low levels of the VMAT2 gene, this individual would self-describe as not particularly religious. In each case, these individuals were read a religious text. This individual lit up the right middle frontal gyrus, shown here, and that's a part of the brain that's associated with theory of mind. It's a part of the brain that has to do with intents and beliefs and desires. In marked contrast, here's an individual who would not particularly self-describe as religious, and when they're read a religious text, what you see is that this part of the brain called the anterior insula lights up. This is a part of the brain that's associated with disgust or displeasure on hearing something.
So you're suggesting I take a CT scan with me when I'm evaluating people to determine whether I put a bullet in their head?
So the data that I'm presenting here supports the concept that we're proposing, and I think that we would not propose to do CT scans or fMRIs on individuals out in the hinterlands of Afghanistan. The virus would immunize against this VMAT2 gene, and that would...
They said this virus would vaccine against the what? What gene?
2 gene, and that would immunize against this VMAT2 gene.
This VMAT2 gene. So they have isolated the gene to turn us off in connecting with our God. So-called atheists, mind you. These people claim to be atheists. What's the gene again they looking to turn off? Playing God? What?
The virus would immunize against this VMAT2 gene.
This VMAT2 gene. So I thought it was about a cold or a flu. No. They're looking to intrude. And their intrusion is on our minds now that they can no longer control us. or control the narrative for us. Now, how do we get here? Elder Lawyer,
Yes, sir.
I need you to read this right here. Margaret Sanger what Margaret Sanger really said about eugenics and race. See, Margaret Sanger, folks, a known Rockefeller agent, she's Jewish, was hired as a feminist to come up with different ideologies and different programs to get to our babies and kill them, along with progressing the ideology of feminism to separate women, our women, from us. By doing so and causing this chasm, more arguments, more fighting, less constructive building as people, and then on top of that, more fighting, less children, divided families, the government get access to them. So that means our children are guess what? It's like we're just breeding children for the state. And it was her ideology behind that. Because they knew that we would never, that we wouldn't stop having sex. They need servants. But if they can create feminism and empower a woman to be, as you fight for equality, that argument or chasm will lead to broken families. The government comes in and raise the children and do what they need to do, to direct these underprivileged children through philanthropy. The Rockefeller Foundation and others financed Trojan horses like this demon on the screen. What Margaret Sanger really said about eugenics and race. Read that for me, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. And it says here, it was 100 years ago on October 16th, 1916, that Margaret Sanger opened the first birth control clinic in the United States. An advocate for women's reproductive rights, who was also a vocal eugenics enthusiast, Margaret Sanger leaves a complicated legacy.
For those who don't know what eugenics is, because there's new people here, younger people, eugenics is government population control, targeting the black race, or the Latino race, or the North American Indian race. Okay? Tempering the numbers so that they can, in any area, white people can be the dominant in number. Read.
It says, and one of the conservatives have periodically leveraged into sweeping attacks on the organization she helped found, Planned Parenthood.
She helped found Planned Parenthood, not just her, Bill Gates' father. Bill Gates' father was the mind behind Planned Parenthood, the father of it. Read.
Last year, 25 House Republicans campaigned to have a bust of the pioneering family planner removed from the Smithsonian's National Portrait Gallery.
See, we're not even going to go there because why? The damage is done. So who cares if you move a portrait away? The ideology of this demon remains. Now, I don't want to hear what Ted Cruz have to say about it because no one did anything to stop the eugenics program, and no one is doing anything about the ill effects it continually has on our communities. So I don't want to hear what a politician have to say. So let's go right here, where Ben Carson mentioned something. Read it.
Ben Carson proclaimed that Sanger believed that people like me should be eliminated.
That people like me should be eliminated. Black people. Read.
Later clarifying per PolitiFact that he was talking about the black race.
Come on.
And in 2011, Herman Cain alleged that Sanger's original goal for Planned Parenthood was to help kill black babies
was to help kill black babies
before they came into the world.
before they come into the world. Right? Let's go. Now we're talking about the early 1900s. Read on.
Historians and scholars who've examined Sanger's correspondence, as Salon reported in 2011, challenged those who call the activist racist.
What?
It says historians and scholars who've examined Sanger's correspondence.
Does this need study? All right, yeah, let me do a case study on this. Let's go down to much of the controversy. Here's the part that we're going to highlight before we go to the next piece here that we have that I outlined for you. Let's read starting much of the controversy.
Much of the controversy stems from a 1939 letter in which Sanger outlined her plan to reach out to black leaders.
To reach out to who?
Black leaders.
To reach out to black leaders. Black leaders of influence, be it through academia, education, or wherever the case might be. Any area of authority over black people. Now we can understand how they use the feminist movement to separate us, destroy the image of the black man, to embolden women who are easily moved strictly through emotion first. Women run their logic through emotion. So if we can put them in position, and because right now they're behind their black man, but if we can move that black woman from being the backbone and nurture of the family into the forefront, we'll have the head following the tail. And we'll make her believe that she's been missing out on life in comparison to a man. That why can't she just explore her body and do all the things men do and get away with it and all this other crap? Why should we get stuck with the child? Why don't we just kill the baby? These were all ideologies that started amongst the Rockefeller Foundation and with witches such like Margaret Sanger. And guess what? The feminists now are more radicalized than they were back then. You see these crazy women now? I'm talking about white women that are straight feminazis. Mm-hmm. So back then there was still some level of class amongst traditional people back then. So imagine how radical they are now, where you will have them they'll be in an abortion clinic praying to Satan for a black pregnant woman to walk through the door. Margaret Sanger's dream has been realized. But she would need what? Read it.
Much of the controversy stems from a 1939 letter in which Sanger outlined her plan to reach out to black leaders.
To reach out to black leaders, go on.
Specifically ministers.
Specifically ministers. To what?
To help dispel community suspicions about the family planning clinics she was opening in the South.
To help dispel community suspicions about the family planning clinics she was opening in the South. Now, why would she target black ministers first to help with this movement? Or to help at least rationalize it, amongst his constituency or amongst his followers? Because they knew that those who believe in the Bible would be their greatest opposition. They knew who would oppose them. This is a battle between good and evil. These are Satanists. So who would oppose them? Those who believe in the Bible and those who believe in God. So no wonder they have come up with something to shoot in our veins that would totally separate us by targeting the brains. The brains of our... one second, let me pull it here. Here it is here. The brains of our children. No wonder they came up with that. Right? Let me go here real quick and see if it pops up here. I need y'all to, what I did, folks, is I went to it, back to the video to show you the brain chart where they show on the bottom here someone who believes or actually reads a biblical text. Opposed to this on top, a person who don't believe, someone they probably shot the Satan's serum into. And look at the difference. There's no light in the person on the top. But look at this. A believer has all this brain activity. So they're looking to inject, chips in the mind and all that would replace the light that Satan will do what? Put out through this serum. You can think it's about a code if you want. I'm lining it all up for you. A mark of the beast update. God, the Bible said we would live to see this day. Look at it. See, this is real news. So let's go to the next article here, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go to the next article. History News Network. The horrifying American roots of Nazi eugenics. So when you think about Nazis, normally people think about Hitler, what happened in the 30s against the Jewish community, but there's more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's way more to it than that. So let's go over it real quick, Elder Lawyer. By Edwin Black. I need you to read this, Elder Lawyer. Edwin Black.
Yes, sir. Edwin Black is the author of IBM and the Holocaust.
IBM and the Holocaust. Now, who was over Microsoft producing IBM computers? Here's the connection between the eugenics of Bill Gates' father, Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, and using the computer systems to progress their agendas and isolating all people on earth before engaging them with the final solution. Okay? Go on, Elder Lawyer.
Edwin Black is the author of IBM and the Holocaust and War Against the Weak, Eugenics and American Campaign to create.
Hold on, let me blow this up so they can see it a little bit more. Because I need to really, yeah, they can see it. Go on.
Edwin Black is the author of IBM and the Holocaust and War Against the Weak, Eugenics and America's Campaign to create a master race from which the following article
Is drawn. Read.
Hitler and his henchmen victimized and encounter
An entire
continent and exterminated millions in his quest for a so-called master race.
Master race. Read on.
But the concept of a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, master Nordic race didn't originate with Hitler. The idea was created in the United States.
Where?
In the United States and cultivated in California. Decades before Hitler came to power.
Yeah, the Bohemian Grove and all that. Yeah, in San Francisco, the same place they have progressed the perversion laws that would put perverts and all that in charge of the country before totally dismantling it. Radical ideology against traditional families, the belief in God, putting these demons in position. Like the person we see that's over Chicago right now. Go on.
California eugenicists played an important, although little known role in the American eugenics movement's campaign for ethnic cleansing.
Campaign for ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing is targeting specific races of people outside of white people. That's why when you go inside right now, currently, if you were to go into the suburbs, there's an entirely different vibe than what's going on in the inner cities. As if they're waiting, just standing pat, and just waiting for the rendition to be over so that they can go back with their lives. as if they know that this isn't targeting them. And this goes back to what I was talking about the order, how other people have these tight organizations, be it Jewish people in the synagogues, East Indian people going to their temples, Chinese people going to their temples. You have gentlemen clubs, all these other places where they meet separately to discuss the outcomes. But yet the slave quarters where we are, we're not organized. We don't have the luxury of discussing what all this means for us. You understand? They bring forth, they give us the insight of what this means to us. But really, it's ethnic cleansing. We are under an ethnic cleansing. But they would need to use powerful, influential, noticeable black people to carry their water in order to pull this off. So that they can say, you can't say this is racist. We have this black doctor who said that it was a good idea. We have this black minister who said it was a good idea. See? Margaret Sanger's plan unhatched, where they'll use the satanic ideology that came from a white woman and color it chocolate. But it's still the white woman. But now they can absolve themselves by saying, well, this is what your people wanted. Ethnic cleansing. Let's read it. Eugenics right here.
Yes, sir. Eugenics was the racist pseudoscience determined to wipe away all human beings deemed unfit.
Deemed unfit. That's why they actually portray us in the media as all that's showing us, portraying us as all as what's wrong with society. All that's wrong with society is what they're portraying within our communities. And guess what? You can't deny we're giving them all the fuel they need. Looking at a woman twerking in a restaurant while brothers and sisters are eating. It's nothing for them to show this stuff amongst their country club members and their gentleman club members and say, yeah, we got to do something about these people. They don't even have they have no self-respect, no class. This is what's wrong. They're holding everyone back. This is what they're saying privately, because why? There is no code amongst us. When you have a segment of your society that you can't correct or say anything, that's dangerous. That if you say something, it's an argument or it's whatever, that's a dangerous component to have. A centralized component that's supposed to be an asset. And you have this person just known as being something sexualized with no brain whatsoever. So that the whole media can now put this out there and say, well, they're unfit. And you know what's a shame? The majority of us aren't like that. The majority of women aren't like that. But what's a shame is, guess what? They have found a way to silence the majority of women by aligning all women together under feminism. Because there's a piece of feminism that you would like to utilize for yourself. You ignore the negative aspects of it that demonizes you. It says eugenics was the racist pseudoscience, read it,
determined to wipe away all human beings deemed unfit, preserving only those who conform to a Nordic stereotype.
And guess what? That plan is on steroids. It's in place as we speak. Read.
Elements of the philosophy were enshrined as national policy by forced sterilization and segregation laws.
By forced sterilization and segregation laws. This is how they enforce this campaign to depopulate and kill our people off. Sterilization. So they would need to have a campaign claiming it's a disease to get their stinking needles in our children's veins. See, you have to understand their final solution. You have to go back in history and read this stuff to realize it's not what they're saying. Something that's asymptomatic means there is no symptoms. If there's no symptoms, then nothing is wrong. You're not sick. But if they can plan this whole thing out and scare the whole earth into sheltering privately while they go in and destroy a whole city, because everyone is sitting still, not realizing, not understanding history. But I understand what God says. This is Jacob's trouble, brothers and sisters. You are under attack. We've always been under attack. And you notice conveniently they're not talking about George Floyd, Sarah Bland. You don't hear none of the crap that led to them breaking stuff up and rioting all year, because they have their intended outcome. They got the people in position that was always known, that was always destroying black people within the inner cities.
Mm-hmm.
You know why they don't care about George Floyd or Sarah Bland anymore? Because now you sat there and voted and told me, I'm voting, and went for someone who have always known. Then these are women who are triggered through emotions. Oh, he's a racist, and this, that, and the other. Not realizing you have now given them access to millions of your young boys who will become the George Floyds and the Sarah Blands through inoculation. Philosophically, we're enshrined as national policy by force. Here's their end game: forced sterilization and segregation laws. So how do they force it? By making it a requirement to take inoculations to go to school, with these phantom threats out there that no one can actually see harming our communities. Nothing more than media scare and media papers they've created to cause all these scares so that they can now do what? Bring now more intrusive, death injections into the community under the guise of healthcare. So eugenics is the extermination of black and brown people, Latino people. Now, why did I go to California now? Why did I go to California? Here's some news out of California. The eugenics plan fulfilled. California vaccines. This is a capital alert. The Sacramento Bee. California vaccine plan will prioritize blacks and Latinos among others. Here's why. Take a look at California's COVID caseload maps. It is easy to spot where rates. Oh, I got to blow this up for you. It is easy to spot where rates are highest because it's the numbers, right? If you want numbers, I can give you numbers. 3,560,6,400. $3,600,054. Take a look at the numbers. And it's easy to spot where rates are highest. In some of the states, more diverse and low income. Hold up. In some states, most diverse and low income communities. The virus have ravaged urban centers like Los Angeles, infiltrated rural Imperial County, and flooded the farmlands of the Central Valley. So the only thing they needed to do, folks, was to give you numbers. But all you have to do is look at how many people died last year when we weren't under this, and see that the numbers are similar to how many people died this year. The only thing is where they would put the numbers. The same amount of people that got sick last year got sick this year. But it's just how they, are fudging or moving the numbers. Same as these elections. It's where they want to put the numbers. But COVID does not claim its victims equally. See? See, this cold or this disease isn't an equal opportunity disease. See? It loves those Latinos, making up 40% of the Golden State's population. But I'm gonna tell you something. It really loves. But I'll tell you. But 60% of the cases, and 48% you hear these cases of deaths. Only 6% of Californians are black, but 7.4% COVID-19 deaths. See? What'd you get, lawyer?
Yeah, I was going to say, and things like this, you have a lot of useful idiots in our community who will repeat these things and say, well, when America gets a cough, black people catch a cold, and we got poor health and all of these different things. So of course it's going to affect us more, not realizing this is just all a part of the propaganda.
This is media targeting us for rendition, extermination, and sterilization. So what do they need to actually execute this? Well, I'll tell you what. The Rockefeller Foundation came up with some people. Bill and Melinda Gates. Bill Gates' father was a eugenicist. The eugenicist that was behind the brain trust of Planned Parenthood, the killing of black babies. Now here we are. Bill and Melinda Gates' Rockefeller Foundations form alliance. Oh, there they go. They're helping us again. To help spur a green revolution in Africa. And you know what they're going to do? No, they're going to do. Let me show it to you here. Oh, they're going to help the poor underprivileged. Major effort to move millions of people out of poverty and hunger begins with a $150 million investment to improve Africa's seed system, GMO seeds. Not only GMO seeds, guess what? All of these so-called perks come with vaccination requirements. See? And who they gonna get? Who? Okay, get this out of there. Yeah. Who are they gonna get to work with them? African leaders. Boy, Margaret Sanger must be singing from the pits of hell right now. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation targets African leaders. Yeah, but guess what? It's not, hey. Oh, sookie now. Let's see, real quick. Let's hear let's hear what's going on.
Do this. Listen, hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? I told y'all we're gonna do a little discussion. Yeah, it's live. Ain't nobody on here yet. Yeah, I know. I'm waiting. Can you back up and get off my thing? Can you get off my thing? We're trying to talk about COVID.
Okay, bye.
Laura, do you got any questions about COVID? Can you tell the people? Listen, I'm doing a live with Robert. Let's see if he comes in. Oh, here he is. Robert, send the rest. Okay, some of you request. Go live with Robert.
Now, she said, let's go live with Robert. For some reason, it's not allowing her to play as far as the visual. Something is going on here.
Yeah, maybe YouTube, I don't know if it's a part of the new guidelines.
Because people are exposing it. But what I can do, I can move out of here and go straight to the doctor.
Send requests, y'all, but I'm going to get him in here.
Hey,
y'all come on in. We're going to talk about it.
Let's get him in here.
Okay, let's see if I can get him in. I'm waiting on him.
Okay, let's see. Let's waiting on him. Let's see if I can get it here. There he is. I can click off and click back in. Check out what the doctor is saying.
They'll see me on there. They'll see me and click on. So.
Okay, so this is Dr. Robert Drummond. If y'all don't remember him, Married to Medicine LA, he's Shanique's the messy girl. Her husband. My friend, the messy girl, we both messy. But her husband, he's actually an urgent care physician. He has his MD and his PhD from
Johns Hopkins.
You know what? Let you introduce yourself. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
All right. Really quickly, Dr. Drummond. I went to Morehouse College undergrad. I went to Johns Hopkins, got my MD, my PhD. My PhD is in cellular and molecular medicine. And I specifically focused on sepsis and septic shock and understanding how certain proteins modulate the immune system during sepsis. So everything that we see going on right now that's happening during COVID is really a lot of what I studied during my PhD.
Oh, wow. So for the people, I'm going to get straight to it. For the people that don't want to take this vaccine, can you help me with that? Because a lot of people are saying it came too quickly. You know, a lot of people looking at the past with the other vaccines that have harmed our people.
Now look how they've chosen these satanic puppets to ask the questions and answer the questions. And you know, this has Bill and Melinda Gates and eugenics money. This sounds like it has that spirit of Melinda Gates money and Bill Gates money all over it. Mm-hmm. It had that feel that they were paid to do this advert.
And to show you it's a script, whenever you hear this conversation come up about people trying to avoid vaccines, it's the same exact points when it comes to the black community.
Yeah.
When you listen to so-called urban radio, you'll have a doctor specialist come on and they'll repeat the same exact points that they just brought out.
Exactly.
You know, it came too quick in Tuskegee experiment, the history between black people and medical professionals and doctors. What can we do to try to make sure we mend any level of distrust between doctors and, you know, black people?
Exactly. So they roll these characters out. See this? Now, in defense of some of these people, they're probably ignorant to the history of eugenics. Okay? They're probably ignorant to Margaret Sanger saying, I'm going to use black influential leaders and I'm going to get in and have them influence black people to kill their children. So what'll happen is when you sterilize and all that, then after you can no longer have children, then the government will come in 5 years later and say, well, it was an unintended rare issue that the doctors didn't understand until it was too late. But you're already sterilized and brain dead. And then you'll see another commercial on TV saying, hey, did you die of this? You die of that? Call Sterl Sting and more. Okay, Sterl Sting and more. Call Sterl Sting and more if you've been affected by this particular this and you did that. There's money waiting for you. And where these people are going to be at that point? It's going to be like us not hearing about George Floyd and Sarah Bland right now. Because it's only about now. It's all about the money right now. That's all it is for these satanic tools.
But one more thing, Elder.
Yeah.
Aren't those not valid concerns? The fact that it was rushed according to their narrative?
Yeah.
Even with vaccines that go through all of the quote unquote proper channels, there's still negative effects that take place.
Yeah.
So, of course, people are going to be concerned if you have something that's rushed, you know.
Exactly. And you have to realize when this first happened, when they were just seldomly mentioned in vaccines, which was really the end game from the beginning.
Yep.
They said it would be 5 years before they can find a vaccine in March.
Yep.
And then it went from 5 years to 2.5 years. Then it went from 2.5 years, the same way they said the lockdowns would only be for 2 weeks. Remember that?
Yep.
They said with the 2 weeks of us actually sheltering in, this thing will pass and we'll go back to what's normal, folks. They told it was 5 years off. Then, folks, they had this thing in tow since 2005. I've just shown this on the video. Ready. They got batches that been ready. It wasn't about anything. It was about convincing a large population of the world to go for it.
Yep.
So let's see what Dr. Black Eugenics Tool has to say. Right? The black you look at it. Okay, I'm definitely gonna get it now. Look,
Right.
you know what I mean? See, this is how stupid they think we are. You got a black man who claimed to be a PhD or whatever. He's simple as a days old, and we have a black woman. See, Margaret Sanger's plan.
You know what I mean? And they got so many questions for you. COVID is killing. It's at a top rate right now. And what do you say to the people that don't trust the media? We don't trust the people. We don't trust the government. They may be lying about the numbers. You know, we got a lot of people that don't even think Trump had COVID. So what do you say to people? Should we take the vaccine?
So first, yes, we need to take the vaccine. But I want to give you all the reasons why. You know, I understand everyone's trepidation. I understand it from the perspective of looking at it in regards to Trump and the media. You know, Trump likes to cut.
Listen, this don't have nothing to do with Trump. This have everything to do with the eugenics, the Bill Gates Foundation, and the Nazi eugenics program to target black people. See, this is what we call smart, dumb people, because they're not measuring things long term according to the Almighty. This is what's wrong with they put these people up to be the Pied Pipers who will eventually help destroy our nation. And they think for some reason, because they went to some HSBCU and a lot of these black colleges, they were set up to do what? You got it. To cultivate the black leaders that would do this to us.
Exactly.
That's why every year you hear about Roland Martin and others talking about, well, yeah. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good because we're gonna have money at HBCUs, the black colleges, because this is where they cultivate brothers and sisters. They're so-called engineer black leaders who are enemies of the Israelite state. They're enemies to the Israelite state, God's people. Let's go.
Corners. Luckily, he wasn't in charge of this. All right. This was created by scientists, designed by scientists, and that's going to be important as we talk about it later. The media has its own goals also, right? So Fox, CNN, MSNBC, they're all slanted. All right. They're either biased towards, you know, left leaning or biased towards right leaning. But from my perspective, from the beginning of the pandemic, I've just tried to give people the information straight without any kind of political slant, because I think that starts to lead to the doubts that we're starting to see. One side doesn't trust the other side. If I follow Democrats, I don't trust Republicans. If I follow Republicans, I don't trust anything that comes out of a Democrat. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess during a pandemic.
Listen, this is not a Democrat-Republican argument. Both sides are saying the same things concerning that we need to get these vaccines progressed, you know, for the people who need it.
Right.
And the people who need it, according to the Rockefeller Foundation, are the same black people they've been targeting since the inception of this country. This is a racist agenda. Now, I don't want to hear anything else about this. I had to pull this out because thank you, Elder Gabar, for actually sending this to me. UK, first country to authorize Pfizer BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccines. First shots roll out next week. CNN World. The propaganda progressed. Something that they said it would take 5 years to produce is already tested and good to go. 95% effective, according to the outcome we've shown you earlier. The outcome is to target the brain and to turn off that certain gene that connects us with the Almighty, to destroy any spiritual stimulation or idea about hope beyond this satanic world in connection with a God or our God. Now, as long as we were stepping and fetching, catching the holy demon up in the churches thinking it's the Holy Ghost, acting a fool in these churches, there was no one talking about rolling none of this stuff out. But now we're connecting to our God correctly. according to the correct doctrine of the Bible, realizing that we're the people of God. And they say, yeah, we got to cut that connection off. UK becomes first country to authorize Pfizer BioNTech. And it's the same thing. They're only targeting the black communities, Benjamin and all that, and those that are on social programs and social housing. The poor communities within the UK. Now, mind you, the whole England is almost on council housing. So the government is going to come to them and say, we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Literally. Either you get down or get out. Now, why is CNN World promoting this, on their propaganda site here? Why? Because they're saying how, the UK got it right. Why can't America get it right? The United Kingdom has become the first Western nation to authorize this satanic serum, a landmark moment in the pandemic that paved the way for the first dose to be rolled out across the country next week. Help is on the way. Yeah, right. Help is on the way, Health Secretary Matt Hancock announced Wednesday morning after UK regulators granted emergency authorization for Satan serum made by U.S. pharmaceutical giant Pfizer and its German partner BioNTech. Now, the Nazi agenda for the final solution germinated in Germany. No pun intended. So all the Nazi programs came from Germany, but we can now trust a vaccine from there? Or what I'm going to just call it what it is, Satan's serum. A final analysis of phase 3 trial of Satan's serums show it was 95% effective in preventing infections or symptoms, as they claim. Right? Now, it doesn't make any sense, because if someone is asymptomatic, what do you give them something to prevent symptoms for? Asymptomatic means they don't even know they have any, they don't know anything is wrong.
Right.
So how are you going to inject me with something for symptoms I don't have? And it says right here, they swing it where they have to put America in there somewhere. The announcement means the UK has vaulted past the United States. See? They have vaulted. Oh, yeah, they're better than the United States. See, it's that challenge now. The political football now. So that now your Congress and Senate can stand up and say, we have to stop filibustering here. There's countries that are less than the United States, who have less freedoms, who have progressed well beyond us and getting in front of this pandemic.
Right.
That horse and pony show that you're going to see on C-SPAN, they're going to claim that we're behind the curve right here while other countries are advancing and opening up, and look at us. You're going to see the filibuster. Now, I'm going to tell you where it goes. They're going to start going into that. We need to follow the UK model. It's coming.
Yeah.
It says the announcement means the UK has vaulted past that bad United States and European Union in the race to approve Satan's serum, months into the pandemic that has killed almost 1.5 million people worldwide. But usually it happens behind closed doors where no one can witness it, actually, where they can fudge the numbers and put anything they would like on the sheet to claim, well, okay, we have these many people, we have cases. So, in understanding this, folks, we have to get on code and understand that this is a spirit, not just a physical war, a spiritual war. Satan and his ministers are well ahead of us, obviously. You don't hear no other races of people, right? Mm-hmm. No other races of people at the forefront saying that their people need to get this immediately. No other races of people do we see is in front of their race. I'm like, yeah. What? Hey, Bill. Why don't we tell the white people that this is safe and how safe it can be? You don't see that, and why they should be first.
Yep.
Where's the East Indian? The East Indians on TV saying we're first. Blacks are first. The white people on TV saying we're first, and now blacks are telling us it's safe and we're first. This is a mark of the beast update. We are under attack. We are under attack. And the Bible says this would happen. This is Jacob's trouble. Elder Lawyer, anything?
Yeah, if anything, the other nations are saying, and of course you have your, you have those few sprinkled in who may just decide to feel like they need to go get a vaccine as well. But for the most part, these people are saying, well, we'll let them get it first and we'll kind of see how it pans out before we decide to get it.
I mean, if I was them, that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I mean, you go into the suburbs and other areas, they shooting pool, they doing whatever. It's like, yo, where's the pandemic at? Like, well, no, we're just waiting for this to blow past. As if there's this inside baseball that we're left out of.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Spanish flu, the Black Plague. I'm starting to believe all these were known renditions for population control throughout Europe's history. These plagues have never been what they were, what history says they were. And it's like every other race of people know that this is bio-warfare time to do what? To stop the children of Israel from ever rising in number beyond the controlling class. Every other race knows this, except us. And I'm going to tell you, and that's why this Sabbath I'm going to go into a nation according to God. And I'm going to talk about it because you have to realize Christ said, where your treasures are, your heart shall be also. And I wanted to break that down, what that means, because why? Every person with that light, or have, if you have life or vibrant, there's natural ambition that comes with living. We have to set goals or life isn't worth living. So you have ambitions and determinations where you're determined to have a positive outcome. But suppose your ambitions and your determinations, folks, suppose those are controlled by the enemy, where your ambitions does more harm to your nation than good. See, and that's where the law come in at. See, Satan made it where, okay, I'm going to set up a capitalistic society where your ambition is money, and you will leave all things that are really important to the wayside, like family, like legacy, like seeing your children grow healthy, being moral assets to society. That's the ambition. That's really being rich according to God. But we have displaced loyalties, and our ambition and determinations have been steered in the wrong directions. And that's why you have black people like these black leaders who can sell us out. Because to them, as long as they're making a buck or they're making some money and they're able to feed their families, it's all good. I'm going to go into ambition and determination, because I'm going to tell you this. When your ambition is correct according to God, all things are possible. And this is why I see people with a lot of money that have money, and that was their chief goal. These people aren't happy. They'll get tired of it and they'll go do something else, because why? It was the race. It was getting there. That's what it was about. The drive, the meaning of life. And once they've accomplished it, they'll be like, well, okay, I got this money, but it's just money. And they're still not happy. But someone who can say that that our children were raised under the moral guidelines of the Almighty, according to this word. And my children are an asset to this world because they fear God. And we can, and guess what? What I'm mentioning now when it comes to ambition and determination, these are things that we can actually control. You don't need no money to get what I've just mentioned. And usually when you have the proper ambition and determination, the money comes anyway. Because the Most High will put something on the road so that you can do more work to build a better world. It's not about chasing the money. It's about having ambition and using yourself just like you are and doing what we actually can control. It's not about getting something later in hopes of helping. We've gotten this whole thing wrong, and that's why the Most High said you can't serve the Most High and mammon. If your whole goal is money as an outcome on the other end of it, you're going to find yourself lost, off the path, empty. And one thing about doing the Most High's work and in the Bible and doing, guess what? You never lose that ambition. What you know and what you have is never enough. You want more. That's the proper ambition towards the kingdom of the Almighty. And this is why, brothers and sisters, we have to come on code and get our determination right. Our ambition right. Put up those 10 commandments and say, that's my ambition. That I'm not going to covet what is my neighbor's. I'm not going to envy others. I'm going to be satisfied with what the Most High blessed me with, starting with life. What's greater than money? This temple. Our temple, brothers and sisters. The greatest commodity on earth, Satan knows and man knows, and the leaders and the powers, the powers that be understands, is human resources. You are the goal, not the money. You are the goal. Because with the people, you can get anything. Folks, it's time for us to get on code and start calling things out that's off code. We have to make sin, feminism, eugenics. Guess what? We have to put shame in its category going forward. And don't be ashamed of putting shame in its category. We're going to talk about it this Sabbath. And I'm going to go right into it this academy, breaking down the 4 beasts of Daniel leading to the mark of the beast. I can't say much on the mark of the beast as far as the details of history of how everything we're dealing with now really started before the flood, and that's why the Most High had to cause the deluge. There's nothing new under the sun, folks. Satan did the same program thousands of years ago and almost accomplished it before Noah's flood. I'm going to be going into all that this this Sunday in the 4 beasts of Daniel, leading to the mark of the beast. There's nothing new under the sun, folks. Everything that we're experiencing in this earth, being deceived by the ministers called politicians, has happened before. Has happened before. But the problem here is what God says in Hosea 4 and 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And because they lack knowledge, they shall be no more priest for me. Folks, you've been bamboozled. You've been deceived. And the only way to get back on code is through this word. Your ambition have to start with what you can control. The 10 Commandments. We must execute that. We must begin to exercise that amongst each other. And guess what? We have to call everything outside of that shame. A dividing line is happening in the earth right now. And you know what? There's too many people who's going to go along with Satan's serve. They're going to get this stuff injected in them. And guess what? These people that we once knew will no longer exist. When you get a chance, type in FUNVAC, FUNVAC, and look at that video in its entirety. They planned this a long time ago to institute something they can shoot inside our veins that would lead to losing our souls, that connection with the Almighty, leading to what? The mark of the beast. Now, this has been a Mark of the Beast update. Elder Lawyer, we're right on the time. Do you have anything to say before I open up the call?
No, sir. Let's open up the calls.
All right, let's open up the calls. 515, you see the number on your screen. 515-605-9327. Let me set up the call here. One moment.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
All right.
I'm sorry, but I did not hear you press at least 4 digits of your PIN number. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Open it up. Hold on.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important...
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Okay, you're live. We're getting on code. That's what's going on. If you have any question, comments, or if you have anything to say, pertaining to strictly the topic, you can come on in and we'll let you have your say. Okay, I want to make sure you all can hear. Yeah, they can hear me. Yes. All right. So let's go down the line of the lawyer. We're not going to take a lot of calls, so just bear with us. We're going to take as many as we can, and please be respectful of the time for the others after you. We have 901 area code, right? Okay. Let's see. 901 area code, then after that, 816 area code.
Hello. Shalom.
Shalom, you're 816, and then we'll get 901. So hold on, 901. I have you. Shalom, your name and location, sister.
Sure. This is Sister Tammy calling you from Kansas City.
Hey, how are you?
I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahia.
Oh, Suki now. I'm just playing around. All right, go ahead. Talk to us, sisters. What you have?
All right, so I've been emailing you some emails of videos that have just kind of come my way. And one of them was very startling in that the people over in Britain, they have rushed this vaccine, and they said they're going to start vaccinating people next week.
Yeah, I know about that. I just showed that.
Okay, already. And then a second
Thank you.
video
Thank
that
you.
I
And
just
thank-
came
and thank
across
you-
is
and thank
where
you for that. And thank you for that also. But go on.
the water, Ayana bar rather. But the second one that just popped in that I just came across is where the United States military, they have vaccination cards that they are getting ready and rolling out. So it sounds like they are have very imminent plans to roll out this vaccine in the United States, because they said that they're going to be equipping the military with these vaccination cards that will also be kept by the health department. And so, and then there's one more thing I wanted to bring up, a point where I guess there's an airline that has elected to ask for your COVID vaccination proof before allowing you to fly on airlines. So with that being said, it just sounds like they are kind of squeezing in on us. And most of our people are like the frogs in the boiling pot of water. They don't even see it coming. So that's all. I just wanted to thank you for the broadcast, and thank you for your work.
Well, thank you, sister, and bless you. Let me put this on hold. And keep in mind, folks, there's nothing to fear. I can't emphasize that enough. There's nothing to fear. We're going to go through Jacob's trouble, but guess what? Those who follow the Almighty, there's going to be a remnant that'll make it through this. The majority of people that's going to fall for this, or the people that's going to fall, are those who had an opportunity to change their ways and believe everything that the eugenic system was telling them. And guess what? And because of their being, denying the truth, the government is going to have them walk the plank. That's going to be the majority of people. The Most High will make a way for those who are in sound mind, connected with the Almighty. But the question is, will you come under his hedge? Next phone call, 901 area code.
Yes, Shalom.
Shalom, you're live, brother.
Hello?
Your name and, your name and location.
Dennis, and I'm calling out of Memphis, Tennessee. I'll be brief as possible, and I'm about to drop some heavy science. What they're not telling people is this vaccine is engineered by they take bacteriophages, which they found the natural body's bacteria. It is able to be biohacked to go out and perform specific tasks within the body. So they genetically modify these bacteria to create these vaccines to biohack the human organism. Melanin is a natural protection against many things, and they understand that. So that's why it's always an attack on the melanin, because the melanin is our protective mechanism. It protects us from UV. It protects us from many things. It's in our entire organism. So they must attack that to get to us, because melanin surrounds the nucleus of the cell, which safeguards our DNA. So they have to get rid of the melanin to get to the DNA. Back in ancient times, they found out that albinism was the key to doing so, because in the albino, they don't have any melanin, which means the DNA is able to be genetically modified.
Okay.
Man, this stuff is so deep.
All right.
It's crazy to even talk about this, but I'm trying
thank
to
you,
do the best
brother.
I can.
Thank you, brother. Let me ask you, brother, because I have to get to the next call. Did you call me the other day?
Yeah. Yeah.
You did?
I did. Yes. You can get back with me at another time, off air or whatever, but this is some heavy science, and it needs to be known because it's the only way.
Hold up. See, this is what makes it hard for me, right? Because everything you drop, I think there's some science to that. But come on, brother. I mean, are you the one that called and said that?
I'm telling you.
Hold up. Are you the one that called me the other day and said that your bloodline is connected with you're the great-great-great-grandson of Mary Magdalene?
No.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay,
No, of course not. I would never, ever.
All right. I just want to make sure. Your voice sounds familiar.
I don't know. I don't know who would talk about the stuff like that. That's craziness right there.
Okay, thank you.
No.
Because,
I'm just calling in context.
I'm sorry, brother. Your voice sounds familiar, but you kind of sound like him, and it was a deep conversation because, you know, I thought we were having, you know, a moment for a moment as far as, you know, discussing history or whatever the case is. And then he said, well, listen, you have to get it because you have to understand that, you know, I'm from France and my bloodline is Merovingian directly. I'm like, oh, see, what you did is discredit everything you just said right now, brother. And this is what I said to the brother.
I'm not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right.
Okay, I guess. That's not me.
All right, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just trying.
Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. Well, you know what? What he said is valid. Because I'm going to tell you, y'all don't know some of the conversations I have. And, you know, I try to be patient as I can. It seemed like the brother was dropping something on the phone. And then he said that he's married. I'm like, see, what this guy do, he'll connect himself with me and get a web page and say that, you know, he's Mary Magdalene's great-grandson. Right. I'm like, sir, at this point, this is where I have to end the call, sir. I mean, we have a lot of people that's trying to get through. I'm talking about, I answer my phone, have my phone up for people, and these are some of the hurdles I must overcome sometimes. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you, I would never do it because it's a private situation. But if any of you really heard some of the phone calls I get internationally, if we had a YouTube page strictly off of the phone calls I get and some of what I have to screen through, I believe that particular YouTube page would have more subscribers than this page. I mean, some of the outlandish stuff we deal with. But anyway, know that most people like to hear, controversy or whatever the case might be. But anyway, yeah, Mary Magdalene. All right, let's get the next call, 205 area code. But yes, what he's saying is correct in attack against our melanin. This is why they wanted us to stay inside during the summertime so that we wouldn't build up an immunity with vitamin D and all that against whatever they might release. That's why they want us to wear masks so that we don't actually, breathe in each other's bacteria, which keeps our immunity strong against diseases. Mm-hmm. This is what actually strengthens our immune system. So just say if someone just had a cold, but they're digressing from it, they're really at the end of it, but we're breathing the same air. Well, I may get a little tinge of it, but because that person breathed next to me, my body have built an immunity, so if I run into that cold, it won't affect me like that. That's the natural biology of how humans work. So they say, well, let's put masks on everyone so that they're not used to breathing in each other's, bacteria. And if we do release something, it'll become more viral and effective. All right, so let's go down the line here. 205 area code.
Shalom, I called last night. I was the last caller because I understand the issues.
Okay, sister, yeah, I'm sorry about that last night. It was some weird stuff going on this evening.
It's okay, no,
okay.
You're fine. It's all right.
The floor is yours.
I saw online it was a 3-phase thing going on for Alabama where they was going to be releasing it in phase 1, A, B, and C to frontline health workers, nursing home members, and as well as the ones who take care of them. And then I think it was like prisoners, people who work in prisons, and then it all trickled down, yada, yada, to phase 3 to where it's released to the final general public. But they got to get, and at least in Alabama, they said they were going to get the healthcare workers phase, then the elderly, then they going to get to us. They ain't straight up say black people yet.
Sister, I'll tell you
and
this.
Then I saw
I'll tell you this real quick. I'm going to let you get your next point before. I'm going to let you get your last point before I go to the next call because I don't want to interrupt your time. I know a brother when I was working in the 90s who was working with the healthcare apparatus as far as the airports. And there was some vaccines, some what I call Satan's serum. One that was going into the white neighborhoods on one plane and one that was going into an entirely different area that would be a black neighborhood in a certain city. And he said, because he loaded the planes, he says he thought it was strange that they stopped the planes and only to switch to serums from one plane to the next. They were saying, well, hold up, as if they mixed up the batches. But they stopped the plane, and what's supposed to go to the black people that was on the black plane, they switched that off, that was on the other plane, and put this. But he said what was weird about it is they were both labeled under the same vaccines. Why would they switch them? Unless there's certain doses, that are the viral attackers with the negative outcomes, and others which are placebos. So the whole deal is they have a targeted market. They have a targeted people for these specific sterile death agents. So yeah, they're gonna say healthcare first and this, that, and the other, but they're gonna allow those that will take it when nothing will happen to them. Some people, and others it's gonna be damnable for them. But go on. You have your what you were saying there. I mean, so let me ask. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
As of right now, what my plan is to do is to actually not be so fearful. Even if they're pressing up on that, I have to stand my ground and at least figure out a way to not. I have children, so that's like a. But
do you work in the healthcare field? Let's get specific here. Do you work in the healthcare field?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay. Are you employed?
No, sir. Stay at home mom.
Oh, well, you're in good shape then. All right. You're in good shape as far as not being... Exactly. So your livelihood will not be affected if you deny Satan's serum. So that's good. All right. Well, thank you, sister. Let me get the next call. And anything else you would like to say before I go to the next call?
Well, what you just said just segued into my second point, where they had the side effects of the vaccine, where it was one side effect was soreness, and then the other side effect was autoimmune diseases. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't want an autoimmune disease. I don't want that. Hey, but guess what? You're asymptomatic. At least you're not getting symptoms anymore. Die already. Okay, die already. Okay. All right. Thank you, sister. All right. Say no to Satan's serum.
If I can mention real quick, you just mentioned something that's very key. I think different people are going to have different reactions to the vaccine. And I think some people may expect that everyone who gets it, automatically, they're going to become a zombie, at that instance. Don't expect that, because you'll look at it and say, well, nothing happened to him. Maybe I'll try my chances and stay up on this job, whatever the case may be.
Exactly. Yeah, one guy be taking it, he's okay. You know what I mean? Working on the farm, he's okay. He's in the right area. You know what I mean? Right. But old Mickey a shorty from the way, he'd get it and turn into a walker.
Right.
All right, let's get it down the line. 404 area code.
Shalom, elders. How y'all doing?
Shalom. I'm gonna take two more calls. Hey, go ahead. It's on you. Talk to us.
Yes, sir. I was just saying. My name is Brother Judah, from the Atlanta body. I was just gonna say that I love the show, as always, and also you pretty much already touched on what I was gonna mention. But they actually getting prepared, because they already done rolled out Agenda 21. So now they're getting everything set for Agenda 2030. You understand? So, like you all just got finished saying regarding the God gene and all that kind of stuff, all of that is on point. Man, I just love the information y'all bringing out, and just keep doing what y'all do. I'm gonna continue to follow, and me and my family we gonna stay in prayer and stay diligent and just do what we got to do when the time comes. So I love you, brothers. Y'all take care, man, and let's see you in the wilderness, baby.
Oh yeah, hey, we Israel and we're back, baby. And guess what? We're not going nowhere. When I say we're not going nowhere, we're kingdom bound. The devil, the devil and his ministers are in a phase of paranoia.
Yes, sir.
We just have to serve our God and keep the commandments and do what's right by each other. That's all the Most High requires. I mean, guess what? And guess what? The Most High, I'm going to place you on hold. The Most High have a host of angels. Thousands upon thousands of angels. Ministering angels. That outnumbers any brigade anyone can put together. We just have to be on the right side of justice, starting with how we treat one another and come on code. Separate ourselves from sin, and by doing so, those that will be an enemy in that time of trouble sticks out like a sore thumb. And be prepared to walk away from people who have always and will continue to make bad choices. And these people will affect you negatively in a life or death situation. All right, let's go down the line here. 561 area code. I'll take two more and then we'll open it up for Elder Gaja. Shalom. 561.
Shalom, Elder. This is Brother Harold from the Florida body. I'm actually in Indiana right now.
Shalom. What you at, a train station?
No, I'm actually my truck in the shop right now.
Okay, talk to us, Harold. How you doing, brother?
All right. I sent you guys an email the other day. I don't want to walk outside. About this bill that passed in D.C., this article out of the Washington Post, where a bill passed in D.C. on Tuesday that would allow children as young as age 11 to obtain vaccinations without their parents' consent.
Yeah, we brought that out in the academy where they didn't change the definition of informed consent. Informed consent was usually in the benefit of those who was making a choice on whether or not to get the vaccine, and saying, well, I can't do that because I need to get informed consent as far as a second opinion before making this decision. That's what informed consent used to be. But now they didn't switch the definition to informed consent, which means... Okay, I have to... Yeah, it's not good for broadcasting on that. Okay. Informed consent used to be, I'm getting a second opinion before... And finding out what the ingredients are and the side effects before making this life-changing decision for my child. Because when I'm rushing my child to the hospital after you gave him sickle cell anemia as a rare side effect, none of you going to be around that screaming baby, that child screaming at night. None of you going to be around when that happens. When my child cannot breathe because of asthma that you called a rare side effect of something. That I'd rather have mumps or measles one time and catch that, organically in society than to get a vaccine that'll give me asthma. At night, you got to get up and rush a child to the hospital. It's like a beast is on them, strangling them, and just strangling their vocal cords. Their lungs can hardly grasp air. I know what it is to have asthma attacks and growing up like that. And it happened right after I was shot with Satan's serum, what they call a vaccine. So no, they don't have to deal with all that old crap. So them telling us it's safe, it's this, that, and the other, you don't know what it is until afterwards. You don't know what the effects will be until afterwards. So now they done switch informed consent to, like the brother mentioned, Elder Lawyer, where if they can convince a child it's safe and the child says, well, I want that. That's the new definition of informed consent, to be able to shoot it in a child without the parents' permission. And then the parents have to deal with whatever side effects come. Well, she can't have children? Oh, yeah, it must be genetic. We don't know what happened. Yeah, your child was sterilized. Last call, and then we'll open it up. I'll give it to Elder Gaja, 916 area code.
Yeah, Shalom, elders.
Shalom, name and location, brother.
Yes, Promise Seed from Sacramento, California.
Talk to us. What you got?
Okay, you guys pretty much already touched on it. Reference to the placebos or whatnot. I think how I'm seeing it is, they say they're gonna have this for the frontline workers, but we know that they have their intentions are focused on us. So I believe that they are going to send out the placebos to those frontline workers, and that's supposed to, have us put our guard down and believe that it's okay for us to go ahead and take it. So you guys pretty much already touched on that, but that's how I was seeing it. But I also want to say, just from an observation, I drive throughout the city all day, and if this thing is what they say it is, I feel like the homeless population should be decimated. They don't have hot water, running water. They don't have access to masks, hand sanitizer. They don't substandard diet.
Yeah.
So if it is what they say it is, the homeless population should be dropping.
Yeah, we should see some physical evidence of these numbers.
Yeah.
Because the homeless people don't have, they don't have, they don't have sanitation.
No, they're not using the restroom and any sanitized type.
They don't got no hand sanitizer. I mean, listen, they making it do what it do, whatever it is. And, I'll let you fill in the blanks. But if COVID existed, it would be, let me tell you, the homeless would be completely wiped out. They're not following no rules.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most definitely. And that was just an observation, and that's all I want to bring forth. Thank you, elders. I appreciate you guys. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Shalom.
Yeah. But see, they're covering that too. Thank you, brother, because they're covering that too. Because what are they saying now? They're saying, well, the first people that we're going to deal with is probably the elderly and the homeless. So eventually, if they get them behind these closed doors, they'll get those numbers. They're looking to put down the elderly to take their assets and all that. They've been doing that secretly in old folks' home and all that for a long time. Keeping old people alive long enough to see if they have assets, to see if they have homes or property that would normally be passed down to the children. But they're like, no, keep that person alive long enough under some surgery or some other things to say the surgery costs this and it costs that, and we're going to let mom or dad die unless you can sign over that house that belongs to you and your grandchildren that been in your home for like 3-4 generations. Sign that over to us and we'll make sure that it can pay for the surgery. You sign it over, they get the surgery, boom, dirt nap, everyone's good. They have your property now. You have nothing to leave to your children. They've been doing this stuff for a long time. The old folks' home is one of the biggest rackets within the healthcare sector. I know because, hey, I was managing an insurance at a top 500, Fortune 500 insurance company. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a big racket. So imagine how they're going to get a lot. This is going to be a property grab for all of the people who are in these homes, because when you sign people over to the homes, you also sign them to be able to go in, and eventually if you can't pay for it, they take assets. Okay, what type of property do that person own? Do they have a 501k? Do they have retirement? They go at, it's a money grab. So they're going to target the elderly. Last but not least, that ends our blog talk. Thanks for you calling in, and we're going to try to open up for calls a little, next week.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you. If you didn't have an opportunity to say your piece, don't worry about it. There will be more broadcasts. But in the meantime, let me bring in Elder Gaja.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, Gaja. You said you wanted to come in? Yeah. You said you wanted to come in.
I think you summed it up, Elder, with what's going on. With the UK, they're rolling it out. There's some clause on it saying that they're not giving it to people under 16. So they're giving it to like the sort of frontline workers, the hospital workers, and all of that. I see Bill, what's he called? Bill Clinton, Bush, and Obama volunteering up that they're gonna take the first shots. We know all that's like you said, the horse and pony show. You with me?
Oh man.
But just putting it out there again, or saying it again for the brethren them that listen. There's no need to panic. You with me? There's no need to fret. This thing, this thing must come to pass. You with me? All of what we see going on is lead to the mark of the beast. It must happen, not if, just when it's gonna happen. So we have to just stay on the side of the Most High and be protected. I remember a few months ago when this whole thing started off, I saw the Jamaican Prime Minister come out and at some prior meeting saying that they have sinned against the people. But now it's making sense what they've done. They've sold the people them out. You with me? And all of these Mickey Mouse politicians and these hungry belly African leaders, all of them sold the people them right down the river. You with me? So the sooner we realize this, that we have no representation in this earth but the Most High, then it's going to be the better for us. You understand? So that's all I do want to really add, man.
Okay.
But,
so it's good to hear you being over there, that they're not really pressing the normal civilians right now, as far as the everyday person. They're not really pressing that. Okay, all right. So
it's aimed at police workers and hospital people, and they said that the vaccine that they said that they have right now is not suitable for children, for under 16. You with me? So
a child. I was like, hold up. A child is a person. So you gotta watch okay, so this is not good for a child, but you can shoot a child with the MMR and the BTAP and the hepatitis and the vitamin K. All that's good for infants.
Exactly.
Man, listen.
Exactly.
Man, listen, they're fumbling the ball right now.
I was looking at it,
but this is not good. No, hold up. A child. Okay, okay. This is how we're gonna do it. Okay, it's not safe for children under what age?
16.
16.
Under 16.
Under 16. So if I'm 15, it's not safe.
That's what they're saying. Yes.
But if I'm 16, I'm safe.
Yeah, the vaccine can tell you age.
Okay.
It's a new vaccine.
So what's the difference between a 15 and a 16-year-old?
Yeah, but these new science, they can tell you age, where you're from, your location, your race. These are smart vaccines,
Oh yeah, this vaccine say, listen, hey, North Philly, I'm home. I don't need to go anywhere, baby. Let me get extra onions on that cheese stick. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, what a smart disease this COVID is. Like it's not ravishing. It's downtown, and it's not ravishing the Chinese community. You got Chinatown down there, but it ain't ravishing Chinese people. And all the people that they claim. Now, mind you, when I used to walk downtown and work downtown, be it in New York or Philadelphia, whatever the case is, all people are just mixing amongst each other. So how it is that after, they said to shelter or COVID came, the disease said, well, listen, I'm going to follow this black dude in the subway, down the Broadnary. Man, it's utterly ridiculous. But we rolled it out. We've showed you the campaign, what their plan was from the beginning. And guess what? Follow Satan at your own risk. With that, that concludes our broadcast. Thank you, Elder. Thank you, Elder. Yeah. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to end it out on a positive, a lovely note. And that's right. Ahia's calling back Israel. Let's do it. The children of Israel is back.
East is where we're from.
Hebrew and Bible Academy, historytimes.org.
Tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, the highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us at gunpoint to gather our wives and children and sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, the highest gathering Israel, Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, the highest gathering Israel. Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering.